Part 2 of Full Court Press Basketball Debate, March 12th, 2015. Chris Guyette here with Yvonne Juno. Kevin Durant set to return in 1 to 2 weeks. Yvonne, and I'm going to ask you this question because there's a lot of difference of opinion here, okay? How much, if at all, will this help OKC? And do you see it helping them or hurting them? And why? There's a lot of difference of opinion. Let's get yours.
I have such mixed emotions about this. I really do. I really do. He's a very good player. I don't know if he's going to help or he's going to hurt. Okay, let me put it to you this way. The proof is in the pudding. Old adage, and I know that, and that's because I'm from that generation. Look what they've done without him. Doesn't that speak volumes? Him coming back. Is that really going to help them? I don't know. I see both sides. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Look what they've done without him. Look what Westbrook has done without him. Look how many games they've won without him. Are they going to take a step back? Because Kevin comes back and Kevin's supposed to be the face of the team. Although in my opinion, Kevin's not the face of the team anymore. Westbrook's the face of the team. Okay? I mean, I think the track record speaks for itself now. If Kevin comes back, he's 100%, and he does not want to dominate the court, and it does not affect the way the rest of the players are playing currently, then of course having Kevin Durant will be wonderful. He's an awesome player. Okay? But he has a tendency, I don't know how to explain myself. They're not the let's go, get up and go, run up and down the court, get in people's faces, full of gusto, and play with everything you've got team. When Kevin's on the floor, like when he's not, I'm sorry. I think he's a wonderful player, but I don't know what it is about the dynamics of him coming back on the court. I don't know how to explain myself.
Okay. Ultimately, what every NBA fan should be asking themselves when they address this topic is, can Russell Westbrook carry Oklahoma City without Kevin Durant? Because that is what this comes down to. If Westbrook does not play well, OKC does not win. I mean, let's be real here, okay? You're right. The proof is in the pudding. The track record is there. But here is your track record. Without Kevin Durant this year, Oklahoma City is 12-10, which is not great. It's good, but it's not bad. It could be a lot worse, okay?
I thought it was going to have a much bigger impact, Kevin leaving, than what it did.
Here's but there's always more to the story. Okay?
Always.
Especially in the NBA. More so than any other professional sporting association there is. The 12-10 record against teams that are above 500, that have winning records without Kevin Durant, they are 3-9. 3-9. Okay? Without Kevin Durant against teams with a winning record. which means against teams with a losing record, they're 9-1. The problem with this is
You can't play just losing teams.
there are no losing records in the playoffs
Right.
in the Western Conference.
You can't play just losing
Okay.
teams.
Now you ask yourself, okay, so what? Well, let me give you a comparison. Last year, they were without Russell Westbrook. If we can trace back to last year, they were without Russell Westbrook, which is a main reason why Kevin Durant is the defending MVP. Let's not forget that, okay? Let's compare last year's Kevin Durant without Russell Westbrook to this year's Russell Westbrook without Kevin Durant. The numbers are staggering.
But they're two totally different people.
But
with two totally different purposes on that floor.
Not when it's just one of them at the floor one of them on the floor at a time.
One's a point guard, one's not.
But they both score.
True.
They're both very aggressive in scoring. They're a lot better offensively than they are defensively. They play almost exactly alike, except Kevin Durant has a much better three-point jump shot and a much better jump shot overall than Russell Westbrook. Whereas Russell Westbrook likes to drive more than Kevin Durant does.
Right, which means Westbrook covers the floor more.
Which means Westbrook should shoot at a higher percentage, right?
True. Okay, I give
Let's
you
compare.
that. Okay, I give you that.
35 games last year without Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant averaged 32.9 points per game without Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook without Kevin Durant this year averages 30.9 points per game. No big deal. Kevin Durant without Russell Westbrook averaged 7.3 rebounds. Russell Westbrook this year averages 7.6 rebounds. Kevin Durant last year averaged 5.7 assists without Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook averages 9 assists without Kevin Durant. But let's be honest, Kevin Durant's not known for his passing, is he? Not really. Here's the staggering number. We said Westbrook likes to drive a lot, gets a lot of layups, gets to the free throw line a lot. Kevin Durant last year without Russell Westbrook averaged 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists a game, and shot a staggering 51% from the floor. Russell Westbrook without Kevin Durant, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists a game, shooting 44% from the floor. Now that is staggering.
That much of a difference.
That is staggering. Because 45% from the field is not bad. But as compared to a guy that shoots more jump shots, you should shoot a higher percentage than that. Which leads me to believe that Russell Westbrook is taking the majority of the shots up and down the floor for this Oklahoma City team. Which leads me to believe that if you can, and Chris Paul kind of proved it last night, if you can slow down Russell Westbrook, you can beat Oklahoma City. So, am I inclined to believe that Kevin Durant coming back will hurt Oklahoma City? Not at all. Not after looking at that. Because you cannot look at this any other way than analytically.
Right.
Than on the floor. Okay? Because we know Durant and Westbrook don't clash. They're brothers. They're best friends. Okay? They have an argument, they work it out. And they're done with it. We've seen it happen in games. Okay? And they win. That's all they do, is they win. Okay? Kevin Durant being on the floor, just being on the floor, even at 75%, Kevin Durant at 75% is better than half the league at 100%. Okay? The threat of him being on the floor opens up the game for Russell Westbrook, for Serge Ibaka, for Dion Waiters, for Anthony Morrow, because the defense cannot lose sight of Kevin Durant, because they know at any time he can go off, he can blow up. So we have to constantly be on him. And if he does start to score, what are they going to do? They're going to double team him. Well, if
Which
you
leaves
double
somebody
team
else
him,
open.
you got somebody open. So, especially in playoff time. Am I saying that Russell Westbrook cannot carry this team? No, I am not saying that. I am saying that he's not as good at it as Durant was last year. The stats prove it. Durant was more efficient. Yeah, Westbrook had flashier numbers. Durant didn't have triple-doubles all over the place, but that's a player stat. That's not a team stat. Okay?
Agreed.
3 and 9.
The main thing that we had disagreements about last year is because I said Durant needed to be more aggressive.
And I agreed with that.
More in your face.
I agreed with that.
Put some weight on. Be more of an intimidation factor.
I agreed with that.
And Westbrook is.
That is correct. But Chris Paul proved that if you can slow Russell Westbrook down without Kevin Durant on the floor, you can beat Oklahoma City, even in Oklahoma City. But if Kevin Durant's on the floor, you've got a second option. If it's just Russell Westbrook,
True.
that's all you've got.
True. I know where I see where you.
So you take the heart out.
Like I said, I could have debated either side.
I think it's better that he's coming back.
He's an awesome player.
I think he provides a certain type of leadership. I think they're more comfortable when he's on the floor. They know they're going to get more points, okay, with him on the floor. And he just opens the game up for everybody.
Unless he comes back and he crawls back into his shell and he's afraid to get hurt.
Wow.
But we won't know that till it happens.
Well, that, and even so, even if he does act like that, he's on the floor. You've got to keep track of him. It still opens up the game for everybody. I think it's a win for OKC here. I think it's a win.
Do you think that it's going to make Russell feel like he doesn't have to try as hard?
Try as hard? No.
Work
because
as
Russell
hard.
Westbrook's going to work no matter what. Okay? But I think he's going to have, how can I word this? He's going to have less responsibility.
Is that good or bad?
Depends on how he takes it.
We're talking about Russell.
I think it's a good thing. Because it won't wear him out as much.
But he feeds off of that.
Well, it's arguable. It's arguable.
Okay.
Dwight Howard expected back in 2 weeks. How much will this help Houston?
Oh, well, this should not even be a matter for us to discuss. Of course it's going to help Houston. They got a hole right in the middle of the floor. Come on. You want to talk about an intimidation factor? Would you want to play Houston? If you had a choice between playing Houston with Dwight or without Dwight.
Well, I'd rather play Houston.
Which one?
Okay, but you say that. I'd rather play Houston without Dwight. But Houston's got a pretty dang good record without Dwight Howard. Which is surprising.
Same thing that we just talked about for OKC.
Dwight Howard is just...
But baby, you big man in the middle. You see Zach Randolph standing in the middle of the court. You think twice before you try to drive to the goal. Let's be perfectly honest.
Well, and Dwight Howard...
Okay? That's like when Shaq used to stand in the middle of the court.
Yeah. I mean, Dwight Howard...
You stop. Whoever's got the ball stops and asks themselves, do I really want to do this?
And you know what's very underrated about Dwight is his basketball mind. His IQ. He is such a smart player. He knows when to foul. He knows when not to foul. He knows when to go up to try to block a shot. He knows whether, okay, wait, I got a smaller guy guarding me. I'm going to back him down. I'm bigger than him.
Which is why he's too smart to do some of the stunts that he does.
And I agree. But that smartness,
he's
that smartness,
too smart to do some of the stupid moves he did last
That I
year.
agree. That's that IQ, that intelligence will offset a 7 of 19 shooting night by James Harden. Because Dwight can make up for it. Without Dwight, they don't have a guy that can make up for that kind of stuff. I mean,
But
you
that's
got,
not the real James Harden.
it's not, but it happens. It happens.
Sure, can happen to anybody.
I mean, it proved it last night. And when you play a team like Portland,
I'm telling you, Harden's got a chip on his shoulder and he's pouting.
we'll see.
Do you think that Dwight is going to help with that or only
definitely
make
gonna
it
help with
worse?
that. He's definitely going to help with that, I believe. Because again, it puts less pressure on Harden. You could see when Harden and Howard were out there, Harden was almost lackadaisical with his play. He was free roaming, just boop, boop, boop,
Right.
boop, boop. Without Howard, well, he's got to carry the team a little bit. And you can see that he's
Yeah,
a
but
little more flustered.
If sitting out that one game has screwed with his head, it's going to show. It's
We'll
going to
see.
show before Dwight comes back.
We'll see. Kemba Walker returned for Charlotte last night after an 18-game absence. How much does he help Charlotte, the fact that he's returning? That he's returned?
What'd he do? Because I don't know.
Well, he only played about 10 minutes.
How'd he
He
do?
didn't start. He had 6 points in 10 minutes. Hit a couple
Okay.
of threes. Had a couple of assists. He looked good. I mean, for the time that he was out there.
What was his injury?
Left knee. It wasn't anything torn or anything. It was a very bad sprain, is what it was.
18 games
18
he had to
games.
miss?
Yep.
Well, he's a big guy.
No, he's a point guard.
Yeah,
Stocky guy.
yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Who's been taking his place?
Well, it's been a combination. I mean, they've got Lance Stevenson that can run some point guard. Brian Roberts from New Orleans, we're very much aware of him.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a multitude of guys that have been running the point guard for Charlotte.
I think it's going to be very beneficial for Charlotte if they handle it right. Only letting him ease back into
That's
it.
what they did last night.
Okay.
Even though they lost.
Okay. Letting him ease back into it, not taking the chance that he's going to re-injure himself all over again. Okay? And I guess only time will tell.
This is big for Charlotte, but what's even bigger is that Al Jefferson was injured last night. And I don't know how much Kemba helps without Al Jefferson.
Oh.
That's the only thing. Because
And what's wrong with Al?
it looked bad. That's all I know. I saw the ankle twist. It looked bad.
I saw them walk him off the court.
It looked bad.
It took almost 3 of
Yeah,
them.
it
but
looked bad.
You have no update, no current information.
It looked bad. That's
Just
all
like
I know.
about Anthony, we don't know anything. Is he all right?
As far as I know, Anthony's fine. But I don't know how much Kemba Walker's going to help without Al Jefferson. And Charlotte's trying to fight for that 7th or 8th seed in the East. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be very, very tough.
I'm happy, in response to your actual question, I'm happy to see any player come back.
Oh yeah, without
Who
a doubt.
was out for an injury, surgery, whatever the case may be.
Without a doubt.
Now, if they're out for a disciplinary action, if they're out or they got suspended or they have to sit out a game for doing something stupid or something that they knew better than to do and try to get away with stuff, that's one thing. But nobody asks to go out on the court and jump up and twist a knee, tear an ACL, have their Achilles destroyed, or what. Nobody asks.
Yeah.
Anthony's rotator cuff in his shoulder. I mean, these things
All Derrick
happen.
Rose's injuries. I mean,
Right. Nobody asks for those things to happen.
Right.
So, anytime a player can come back, I'm happy
Paul
for him.
George. That was
If
gruesome.
he ever comes back.
That was gruesome. Oh yeah, he's going to be back. That was gruesome. ESPN.com writer Royce Young, quote, CP3 and Westbrook succeed differently. First off, what does he mean? Because I haven't read the article yet. On purpose, I have not read the article. I'm assuming a lot of you guys have out there. I don't know what the article entails, and neither does Yvonne. So we're going to try and see what we think he meant.
Well, I can't say if I agree or disagree, which is your part B of the question.
Okay, but wait.
Unless I know what he was referring to.
Okay. Try to assess what you think he meant and tell me if what you think he said is actually what he said. Would you agree with that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think he meant?
Okay. If he meant what I think he meant,
And what do you think he meant?
I think he meant that CP3, Chris Paul, he's a veteran player. He's an elite player. He plays not only with his hands and his body, he also plays with his mind. He's a strategic player. Okay? And he outplayed Westbrook last night. And he outplayed him by challenging what Westbrook usually does to other people. Okay? Westbrook, on the other hand, is like shooting out of a cannon. Okay? He plays aggressive, he plays hard, he runs,
He's in your
drives through, he doesn't think sometimes. He plays, I'm not going to say irrationally, he's young. He's young. And as well as he knows those plays, and as well as he knows what he should do, he doesn't always do the right thing. He makes a decision on the spur of the moment and does what he needs to do to try to get the points on the board, whether there's strategy involved or not. Sometimes. Most of the time it works. Because you don't see him coming. You cannot second guess him. You do not know what he's going to achieve. You do not know what play he's got in the back of his mind, because the wheels are always turning. But he's going to do it, and he's going to do it even if he has to go through a brick wall to do it. He met a brick wall last night. So, if Mr. Young meant that the more seasoned veteran who's an elite point guard wins with strategy over Westbrook, who plays with his own strategy, but with much more force and much more determination, but can change his mind on a dime because he's young and he doesn't have the experience that Chris Paul's got, then I agree with him 100%.
We're pretty much on the same page here.
Okay.
I'm gonna further your assessment. This is straight physical versus mental.
Uh-huh.
That's what this is. People don't realize just how physically inept and how much of a physical presence Russell Westbrook is. The guy.
And not to interrupt you, sorry to interject here. There's a lot of people out there who are listening who are also unaware of what it takes physically to be a good point guard. You've got to be on top of your game.
Russell Westbrook, I don't even know if you realize it, is 6'3", 215 pounds. To put that in perspective, Dwayne Wade is 6'4" and plays the 2. Russell Westbrook is a 2 guard that plays point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's all physical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
How big in weight is Chris?
He's fast. He's quick. He can stop and go on a dime.
Young.
He's strong. He's brash.
And he's young.
Whereas Chris Paul is 6 foot on a good day. If Chris Paul wakes up on the right side of the bed, I love you, man, is 6 foot even. 190 pounds, but has the basketball mind of Einstein,
Mm-hmm.
is so intelligent with the ball in his hands,
Mm-hmm.
or without the ball in his hands. Okay? He doesn't shut up on the court.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't stop talking.
He talks incessantly.
But you know what? That's what makes him so successful. He's not this big guy that's strong and
Right.
not to say that Chris Paul's not strong or extremely athletic, because that's falsified. But he's not a physically superior gifted athlete. That's not what he's good at.
Right. He's more
He
strategy
hurts
and,
you
right.
with his head.
Right.
And you can't read minds. You
Nope.
can read actions.
Right.
You can't read minds.
No. You can't
So, yes.
You cannot second guess him.
So yes. And by the way, Royce Young, fantastic title to this article. Makes you think. Okay, and I've read Royce Young's article before. Always very interesting, so I'm very anxious to read this one. I couldn't agree more here.
He's giving kudos to both, but he says
But in
they're
a
so totally
different way.
different.
They are, and they are. They
They
could not be more different,
No.
in
How
my opinion.
old is Westbrook?
Westbrook is 25?
I didn't even think he was that old.
24, 25?
How old's Chris?
29, 30?
I thought Chris was already 30.
Probably 30.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, on his return next season, quote, "It was never a question." Yvonne Juno, your thoughts?
There isn't anything to say. Of course there was never a question. Look, when Kobe gets ready to leave, we're all going to know Kobe's ready to leave. I don't think that anybody's going to have to second guess that Kobe Bryant is getting ready to retire, because I think he's going to come right out and make it public knowledge, and I think he's going to say that at the beginning of the season before the season even starts.
Yeah, this is my
Hey
last
guys, this is my last season. Watch out. I don't think there was ever any question about whether or not Kobe is going to return next season. And I don't think Kobe should retire. And I think Kobe is still in very good physical condition and can still play. And I feel sorry for anybody who underestimates the fact of what he is still capable of doing.
Wow. Couldn't have put it better myself. This is another one.
You don't you don't underestimate somebody like Kobe Bryant.
I've made it publicly known that I think Kobe Bryant is the best basketball player to ever enter the NBA. Okay, I've made it publicly known on this show. Okay?
Sorry to interrupt again, and I'm not a football fan, but that's to all you people out there that underestimate Peyton Manning, shame on you.
Right. I mean, this is a similar situation.
Exactly.
Okay? I have made it publicly known that I believe Kobe Bryant is the best player to ever play on an NBA court. He's the only one that could go one-on-one with Michael Jordan, okay, and succeed. What is there to say?
There
Okay?
isn't anything to say.
He's motivated.
Kobe's going to tell the whole world when he's ready to
He's
leave.
motivated. He's ready.
He'll
He wants to come back.
probably throw himself his own going away party.
Right. I mean,
Are you kidding?
Come on. I mean,
Of course he's going to come back. Now, that leads to another question that's not on here. We got to keep our fingers, toes, and everything else crossed that when he does come back, that he can be the Kobe he wants to be. Not the Kobe that we expect him to be, because honest to God, nobody's harder on Kobe than Kobe.
Of course not.
So if he can come back and be the Kobe he wants to be, it's going to be a glorious thing to see.
I can't wait.
I know.
I can't. It's
The
just
most
something.
disappointing, upsetting thing in the world would be for Kobe to come back and not be able to perform the way he wants to
Right.
perform.
It's just something different about a yellow number 24 not being on the floor.
Right.
I can't even watch a Lakers game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to do when he retires. I'm not going to be able to watch a Lakers game. Because there's been a plan proposed to stop early NBA draft entries. The proposal states that you must have at least 2 years of college before you are eligible for the draft. All of these freshmen coming out, this will probably be the last year that they can do that. Okay? Few examples of that are Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Austin Rivers most recently, Anthony Davis had 1
Take it
year.
further back.
Okay?
Michael Jordan.
No, Jordan had 4 years at UNC.
Okay. Was it Magic?
Oh, Magic had 3 years of college.
Kobe.
Kobe came straight out of high school.
Right.
Okay? I mean, should the proposal go through? Why or why not?
Does that answer your question?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That answer your question?
Yeah. And I agree. I mean,
Number one, when you're 17 or 18 years old, because there are students, if they start school early because of the way their birthday falls, they graduate from high school at 17.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even made 18 years old yet. Okay? They're not ready to be put in that kind of occupation. Their brain hasn't even finished growing. They can't make up their minds. They go from a life of high school basketball, and I don't give a damn if they're the best player in the whole world. They're not ready for that kind of
Mentally.
pressure. Right. They're not ready for that kind of pressure, responsibility, decision making, etc., etc. And most of the time, it's the parents who have to make the decisions for them. And then the boy or young man has to live with the decisions that mom and dad made for him. Suppose he gets to college and he stinks. Suppose he gets to college and he's out of his league. He can't play with the big dogs in the NBA. What does he have to fall back on? Nothing. Nothing.
That's right.
I think this is one of the best things, if nothing else, but from a maturity level and
from
standpoint.
a mental aspect.
And to be perfectly honest, it's a benefit for the young man.
No, it is. It is.
It's a benefit for you. You're going to put him on a team where there's maybe 30, 32, 34, 36-year-old players and expect him
to fit in.
Have the same mindset.
To fit in.
To fit in? To be on the same level? No. I think that's one of the best things that they could do. That's my own personal opinion. And I know that there's a lot of people out there. But I'm thinking of it from the point of view of what's best for the young man. Because it's a lot easier to fail at something and go back to school for 2 years than it is to go from high school to making millions of dollars and you crash and burn, and then what? You got to stick your tail between your legs and you got to go back to college and start from scratch and everybody knows you've already failed? That would be the most humiliating, embarrassing thing in the world.
Right. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's you heard it here. And that's it right there. Part 2 ends here. Part 3 coming at you next.